4-part stepping. The purpose of this step is to make sure that you really get the opening and closing, compression and releases between your front foot going forward and getting your weight fully on your front leg. So you step forward, and when you do, you compress both your legs, you close, and then you open. So the 4 parts are simple. Step forward. Make sure when you step forward that your foot is stable and you're not falling forward, but you step forward. Next, your legs bend and you compress your joints like loading a spring. Third, you release the spring and let your back heel push into the floor, which projects your hips forward. Then you tuck your hips very slightly and bring your back foot parallel to your front. Now, it doesn't have to stay in that feet parallel position very long, even if it's only for a millisecond, but it needs to stop there. Because in all Bagua stepping at an advanced level, that position where your feet come together is a place where your foot could completely change direction. For example, it could do a very, very large toe-out step, and you're going to be walking backwards soon. It could go to the side, and it could project your body fairly far to the side. Instead of going directly forward, it could go off to a 45 degree. So that point when your feet come together has to be utterly stable. Now, when you've done the compression and the release, which is more about really developing the power in the legs, that should happen when you do a 3-part step. It happens so fast. Here, it doesn't happen fast. It becomes very, very clear. And when you have that, each part of the 4-part walk should be very, very clear. The bending should be clear. The releasing should be clear. If we talk about your front foot being forward and your weight shifting from your back foot to your front foot, that middle juncture of the closing needs to be very clear, as well as the sense of how to release that compression so it goes into your back foot and projects your hip forward. So rather than your back foot pushing you forward, it's like a wave that bounces down into the floor, and the wave coming up moves your hip forward. Press, release. Press, release. Compress, release. Compress, release. Now, when you do the compression and release between your foot being back weighted and front weighted, it's very important that in the beginning when you do this, it's going to be slow and it's not going to be that smooth. When you first start, the important point is to make it very clear. As you get better with it being very clear, then you go from making that transition between the closing and the opening become smoother and smoother and smoother until eventually it's as though you weren't making as much an opening and closing. It was just like a wave moving through your leg. When you have that, you've both prepared yourself for 3-part walking and for 2-part walking. The closing part is what will allow you to really bring your back foot parallel to your front. And the opening part is what's going to enable you to really shoot your energy into your back leg and then move your hips forward and send your energy all the way up to your spine, the end of your fingertips. So each part of the 4-part walk is about functionality. Now in martial arts, when you close in on someone, you're very close. This back leg to front leg is the same thing that's done in Tai Chi or in Xingyi or in many other martial arts. But in terms of developing the energy of your body, this 4-part stepping is making sure that your energy rises and falls smoothly and powerfully.